salt and lemon juice to taste, toss together, and that's it. You know, I'd say you'd add some oil or mayo, but that's not on diet.
Oh, come on. Yes, it is. Why wouldn't you add oil to your cabbage? Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Lisa, a registered dietitian, and today I'm gonna be reacting to a video about meal prepping cheap and healthy meals in 1 hour. I just thought it was a really great pretense. Groceries feel very expensive right now, and meal prep can be a great way to make sure you're cooking more at home and add more nutrition to your diet. But also getting it all done in 1 hour sounds like a lot, so I can't wait to see what he has and what I have to think. Here we go.
Many of you don't know what I'm about to tell you. We all know I've cooked my whole life. Here's me cooking at 5, and well, here's me at 12. Look, that was a different Josh. Bullied, depressed. I'm not gonna give you the whole sob story, all right? The point is I was not at a healthy weight, if that's not evident by looking at that image. Thank you.
Okay, side note, you actually can't really tell how healthy someone is just by looking at a picture, but clearly given his words here, we know that he wasn't super happy at that weight.
Well, I was an absolute legend at World of Warcraft, and don't you forget it. By 16, I lost over 100 pounds. So yes, hard work pays off. But here's the goal. I wanna take my fitness up a notch and get absolutely shredded. While healthy food sucks,
No, it doesn't suck. And it's not that much more expensive than regular food.
we're gonna learn together and end those excuses today.
Yes, let's do it. Oh, yum. That looks good. I'm liking this montage. It's like a good sign of things to come.
Okay, here's what I don't like about meal prep. People keep it way too simple. I get it, life is busy and you wanna keep things basic and easy. But really, an egg cooked in a cup with a side of peanut butter and a cup of blackberries? No. We're gonna fix that.
I actually like keeping meal prep simple. In fact, one of the reasons I wanted to watch this video is because I'm not really a prepper. I'm more of having a flexible plan going into the week. So if you are someone who keeps things basic, I think that's fine, especially from a nutrition perspective. If you're looking for more variety, more excitement on your plate, then definitely you're gonna wanna mix it up.
And by we, I mean me, my friend Noor, who is Jack and will be here. Noor's gonna be our expert to guide us through this process to make sure that we make the most helpful, healthy meals we can with the maximum flavor that'll fit your budget.
I'm so glad he's calling in a friend to help him. Personal trainers are not always given nutrition education. So they're not always experts in meal planning and nutrition. In fact, oftentimes they have no nutrition training or education. So it's not that they won't have a general idea about different types of foods and the nutrients they contain. But if you're really looking for advice, of course, I think you should talk to a registered dietitian or even someone with an advanced degree in nutrition.
By the end of this, Noor is gonna approve or disapprove on whether our meals pass the health and fitness test. But Noor, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so our meal. For breakfast option, we have a jammy soft egg breakfast sausage sandwich. And then we have 3 options for lunch, dinner, or, well, I guess also breakfast or a snack. Green goddess salad with a fajita bowl and teriyaki salmon skewers with a cabbage slaw.
Yum. I love cabbage.
These are made with intention. It's not just
dietitian.
ingredients thrown together to meet your macros or whatever the hell you're doing to keep track of it. But let's talk about the more important factor. Here's how you're gonna do this in 1 hour. I have a secret weapon. It's a sous vide circulator. Oh, what? Why, Josh? That's so dumb. Listen, let me present to you some problems. Problem number 1, it's hard to consistently eat healthy, usually because of moisture. Yes, that's why people like fatty cuts of meat. You know, if it's juicy, juicy squirt, then it's easy to eat. But if you have chicken breast and it's as dry as the Mojave Desert, well, then that's a lot harder to do, isn't it? Problem number 2, cooking a lot of protein usually requires a ton of cleanup and time spent at a stove. You're flipping, you gotta chop it up, blah, blah, blah. This is going to eliminate both of those and more.
Look, I have no problem with him using his sous vide cooker to prep his proteins. I don't have one, but I have friends who have sous vide cookers. They love them. I've heard rave reviews about these types of cooking tools. There's nothing wrong with cooking it in the oven or on the stovetop or even in your slow cooker.
Yes, we clean the board between shots here. Thank you.
Very important. There you
Now,
go.
once you have a
very
protein,
important.
season that to taste with whatever you like. You can do just plain old salt and pepper, or you can add Cajun spice, and a little bit of Vaudevan curry spice on the chicken. Toss it in a vacuum bag. Feel free to add herbs or aromatics at this point, and then make sure to get a good old-fashioned suck and seal. Then drop it in a sous vide bag.
Another tool, I don't have a food saver machine.
Drop those bad boys in there for about 50 to 55 minutes, and now our 1 hour prep time starts.
So awesome that he's getting his protein prep out of the way. The other thing he mentioned doing to his chicken and his pork is adding seasoning. I think so many people think healthy food is boring because they're not adding flavor to it. So go ahead and add those spices, add those sauces. I think he's gonna make some.
Let's start with another long process, a batch of white rice. I don't care if I can't diet with white rice. I'm doing it. I refuse to eat brown rice. Texture, horrible. Dry, and it takes longer to cook? Hell no.
I bet you're expecting me to say, as a dietitian, I would use brown rice here, but I actually agree with him that white rice is the way to go. It cooks a lot faster. Most people enjoy it more than brown rice, and brown rice only has a little bit more fiber in it than white rice.
I did about 2.5 cups of medium grain rice, which was rinsed of its starch till clear and added to a rice cooker. With 2.5
Rice
cups
cooker is
of
the best way to cook rice.
white rice.
I need to get one. But again, it's like another expensive tool he's using.
Close it and turn that sweet, starchy robot on. We're starting this first because a rice cooker takes about 35 minutes, but a pressure cooker will take 15. Use your time wisely. At this point, we're about 5 minutes into our hour, 55 minutes left.
I can just tell you there's no way I could have done all this in 5 minutes. So if you're watching and you're like, no way I'm getting this done in an hour, same.
Next, green goddess salad. Quite literally, just combine in a blender a quarter cup or 41 grams of toasted almonds, 5 tablespoons or 27 grams of nutritional yeast, which is completely optional, 5 cloves of garlic peeled.
Also love nutritional
1 cup or
yeast
20
and
grams of
garlic.
fresh basil, 1 cup or 30 grams of fresh baby spinach, and optionally 1 poblano that's been cored and the stem's been removed. If you want, you can totally char it over an open flame.
Okay, fancy. And
Blend
he
that
knows
then
it.
Use water to get it loose enough just to get that nice vortex in the blender. Blend on high speed and then stream in 3.5 tablespoons or 35 grams of extra virgin olive oil. Pour that into a bowl, season to taste with salt, lemon juice, and pepper, and well, that's your dressing.
Just a side note on that salad dressing, it sounds so good. It sounds so delicious. You've got some healthy fats in there. You've got a little bit of protein. It's gonna make your vegetables taste delicious. Just like you wanna put seasoning on your protein, you absolutely wanna have flavorful dressings for your salad. Use store-bought dressing if it's gonna help you eat salad.
Iceberg lettuce into chunks, and a couple of handfuls of grape tomatoes cut in half. Well, I've said this before on my YouTube shorts, which, by the way, if you're not watching those, what are you doing?
Okay, shameless plug. I've never been able to do this. I find it's just quicker for me to cut the tomatoes side by side, but
whatever your caloric intake is. In a large bowl, coat it nicely, toss, then just load up a meal prep box or to-go container kind of thing like this.
Okay, so this is one thing where I would say your salad is gonna start to get soggy. That type of lettuce doesn't really hold up that well to being dressed, and even sturdier greens like a kale tend to get wilty after just a couple of days. So if you're planning on eating this like 3-4 days out, I would just recommend that you put the salad dressing on the side in a little container or keep it in a big container if you don't need to grab and run out the door, but you just need to have things prepped.
And some grape tomatoes if desired. Make 7 of those guys, for the week, and we'll add protein when it's done cooking.
Oh yeah, especially if you're making 7 for the whole week. This is not gonna be very yummy on day 7. Or probably day 6 or 5 or 4 or 3. So I would just keep the salad undressed,
We're now 15 minutes in, 45 minutes left. Okay, our fajita bowl. We just need to make a
timer's stressing me out.
For this, just cut 2
so
red bell peppers
yum.
and 1 green bell pepper into matchsticks.
Love this color, love the veggies.
Saute pan over medium-high, grease the pan with cooking spray.
So I would use cooking oil over cooking spray. That's just me. I like to add some healthy fat to the meal. Maybe start with an olive oil or an avocado oil.
Season to taste with salt and cook for 3 to 5 minutes, tossing often until lightly charred and cooked through with a little bit of crunch. That's it.
Yeah.
There's something beautiful about this vegetable combination. You don't really need much.
Agreed.
Next, we need a sauce for our protein. In a small bowl, add a quarter cup or 15 grams of finely chopped parsley, 4 cloves of garlic grated, 1 tablespoon or 11 grams of water, 1 tablespoon or 16 grams of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons or 20 grams of olive oil, and 2 tablespoons or 22 grams of lemon juice. Season to taste with salt, combine that, and stir till dissolved.
Same thing here. I love that he's making another flavorful marinade for his meat. It's gonna just make the whole process, the whole meal more delicious, enjoyable, etc. If you don't have time to make this marinade though, certainly there are plenty of flavorful store-bought ones you could take a shortcut with.
We'll be ready to assemble that once the rice and our protein is done, and we're currently 25 minutes in with 35 minutes left.
This
Now
timer.
we're at the make or break moment, if you will.
Okay.
If you make both the salmon and the breakfast sandwich, then be aware, you only have 35 minutes to do that. I can do it in probably 20 to 25, but if you're a little slower, respectfully, then you should pick one or the other before getting your...
So sounds like this isn't something you want to start like at 11 if you have a hard stop at 12. So buffering in a little extra time and maybe choosing 3 instead of making all 4. He says he can do it because he's super speedy, but again, I think he's operating at a faster than average pace right now.
Soft-boiled eggs, very easy. I don't know why people struggle with it. You literally just get a pot of boiling water, you put 7 eggs in there, 1 egg per sandwich, and just let them boil for 6 minutes and 30 seconds on the dot. Pull them, immediately submerge in an ice bath, cool till warm, about 5 minutes, then peel, and well, that's it. You slice them, and they should be loosey-goosey and jammy to the point of weak knees.
He is right. Making hard-boiled eggs or jammy soft-boiled eggs is really easy, and it's such a great way to prep a protein in advance because because you have them hard boiled, or soft boiled, jammy boiled. You can grab them for snacks. You can put them on top of salads. He's clearly utilizing these for sandwiches. This is one of those things where, same thing, if I was prepping them, I might leave them in the shell versus cutting them up and putting them on the sandwich directly. I think they're gonna maintain that integrity for a little bit longer.
Now for the turkey breakfast sausage, we'll do this. Medium-sized bowl, add 2 pounds or 900 grams of 95% lean ground turkey, 1 tablespoon or 1 gram of fresh sage finely chopped, half a teaspoon or 1 gram of onion powder, 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons or 12 grams of fine sea salt, half a teaspoon or half a gram of cayenne powder, and half a teaspoon or half a gram of fresh ground black pepper. Mix that together, kneading nicely. Somehow ground turkey is just not very delightful to touch with your hand.
I like that he's making his own sausage here though, using just ground meat. So he is choosing a leaner option. It's going to be lower in saturated fat. It's going to be just a little bit better for you. Even if you chose a ground turkey or did this with a different ground meat that was a little bit of a higher fat percentage, I think that's fine.
Yes, you may have an extra one. You're welcome. Once you have your bowls, you're gonna cook these just like a smashed patty burger. Grease a large skillet with cooking spray, heat over medium high.
No comment.
It's nearly smoking. Add in a ball, press it down with a spatula or burger press until about a 1/4 inch thick and let that sear for about 2 minutes. Then flip and sear for 1 to 2 more minutes or until fully cooked.
Yeah, this looks like a really creative way to get a different type of breakfast meat into your diet. And it probably is a little bit cheaper even potentially than buying like a pre-made breakfast sausage.
Beautiful sourdough bread made from scratch. And I have many recipes for that, but I guess regular is fine.
Yes, regular is fine. His sourdough isn't necessarily the healthiest bread that there ever was. I think homemade bread is great. It tastes so amazing. I never really got into baking sourdough during 2020 when everyone seemed to start, and I wish I had because it's very flavorful and delightful. Bread itself can be a really confusing thing to shop for. There is an entire aisle in the grocery store that's just full of bread. So many different types you can buy. Here is where I do recommend choosing whole grain. So look for whole wheat or whole grain flour as the first ingredient, not just wheat, but whole. And then look for some fiber to be in the slice and look for one that doesn't have too much added sugar.
Toast your bread. It's not just a texture thing, it's a flavor thing, so don't skip that. You'll need 14 slices to make 7 total sandwiches. See, I'm getting better at math too. Now here you can add a sauce that fits your macros, which I would recommend, and leave to you to decide. Now, toasted bread. Seared juicy turkey patty down, a soft jammy egg split in half with the jammy side facing down. Lined up in the center, place another slice on top. We're going for sort of that Japanese egg salad sandwich cross section. Now wrap each in plastic wrap, split it in half, and hope you have a good looking jammy cross section. It's simple but oddly satisfying.
I agree with him that we should use a sauce. Again, you're adding some flavor. I don't know how he knows what fits in my macros, but I think using a little bit of any sauce to flavor up an egg sandwich is great. Again, love that he made his own patties here. I would just hold off on putting the ingredients together until right before I'm gonna eat.
Now, if you don't want the breakfast sandwich, here's our teriyaki salmon skewer.
Yum, yum,
First, our
salmon
sauce.
skewer.
To a medium saucepan, add 1.5 tablespoons or 20 grams of white vinegar, a 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of water, a 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of soy sauce, half a teaspoon or 6 grams of toasted sesame oil.
I'm sure someone else is thinking this. At the amount of dishes he's gonna have at the end of this hour of meal prep, it's gonna be like 30 minutes of dishes because he's making yet another homemade sauce. I love to see it. Again, you wanna add a lot of flavor to that meat. If you need to take that shortcut and use a store-bought sauce, go for it. This one looks really yummy though. I'm so happy that he's gonna add that flavor to the salmon.
Of honey, 1-inch knob of ginger, grated, then whisk in 2.5 teaspoons or 8 grams of cornstarch, heat over medium heat, stirring frequently until thickened, which is really fast, about 2 minutes. Cut off the heat, stir in 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic, and that's
Garlic
it. Now,
is
for the
so
salmon,
good for
you
you
need 2 pounds
and
and
tasty,
900 grams of a
flavorful.
salmon fillet.
Love
Remove
it.
the skin beautifully. Hey, you got skills like that? Look at that. Whew, it's a skin salmon right there. Cut that bad boy into 1 by 1 inch cubes, or at least as closely to a cube as you can. When cutting a fish like this, please don't saw at it like it's a well-done steak. Ideally, you want to cut it in a single stroke from heel to tip of the knife. You know, it's all about that stroke game. You know that. For the vegetables, you need 1 crown of broccoli that's been cut into florets and 3 green onions that have been cut into 1 1/4 inch segments.
Love seeing the veggies, love seeing the color here from the salmon, or from the scallions, and the salmon, this color from the
You can
salmon.
organize them however you like. Now, preheat a grill so one side is hot and the other is off. You can use any type of
Stopping here to let you know that again, if you don't have a grill or you don't have access to a grill, if it's like the middle of winter and you're not a winter griller, you can cook your salmon in other ways. And just even having the broccoli chopped is gonna help you get this meal ready to go on the table quicker if you're having it for a weeknight and then using those leftovers.
The main important thing is you spray your grill aggressively with cooking spray, season your skewers lightly with salt, and grill beautifully for about 2 minutes per side or until you get some nice color and char, and the fish is just barely cooked with an internal temperature of about 125 Fahrenheit.
So again, internal temperature, USDA here would recommend 145 for fish. So I know a lot of people like their fish to be pretty rare on the inside, but from a food safety perspective, it's 145. What's recommended?
We're gonna make a very basic lemony slaw.
Oh my gosh, I love simple slaws so much.
As you can, ideally on a mandolin. Somehow a half a head produces way
Okay,
more
this is
calories.
like yet another kitchen tool that I don't have. Just like, I think we're on like 5 kitchen tools he's using that I don't have. And I have a pretty well-stocked kitchen. But there's other ways to
add
shred
that to a
cabbage.
bowl along with 2 thinly sliced green onions, salt,
I
and
do it in
lemon
my
juice to
food
taste,
processor.
toss together, and that's it. You know, I'd say you'd add some oil or mayo, but that's not on diet. Now, is it, bro?
Oh, come on. Yes, it is. Why wouldn't you add oil to your cabbage and give it a dressing to make it taste really yummy? I don't know why. I certainly would. So I guess maybe fat has more calories than other macronutrients, but it also is really satisfying and helps you to absorb those nutrients, vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are fat soluble. So helps you get more nutrition out of the foods you're eating.
Quickly brush each skewer with your teriyaki sauce while it's grilling and continuously rotate.
That looks
on the hot
really
side so
good.
that your glaze gets
I'm
nice and
jealous
sticky
of this like
and
food
like
video
charred.
shot
Then load up your meal
happening.
prep boxes with your salmon, a serving of white rice, and or your slaw. Again, I'd say probably about 20-minute process here.
I mean,
so I think we'll land.
This meal is so wonderfully balanced. We've got protein, we've got veg, we've got some starch. So from that perspective, I love to see it. You've got sort of everything that you could need in a meal on a plate and a variety of different like textures, flavors.
And with just a little bit of cushion before that full hour's up. So here's how you'll configure these meals. She'll do the split sandwich, a nice mix of 50-50 raspberries and blackberries, about 1 cup or 115 grams each of them.
So since this is a cheap meal plan, I will just say, at least right now, buy me berries are very expensive. Fresh berries, when they're out of season, even when they are in season, as you know, if you've been to the grocery store lately, they can get pricey. I would probably swap in frozen berries and mix them into the yogurt, kind of like let them thaw in the yogurt.
It's simple, but it really gets the
But
job
that looks
done,
like
and it's
a really
very
nice hearty
satiating.
breakfast,
At this point,
for
you've got
sure.
5 minutes till the hour is up. Your protein should be done. Simply pull them out, pat them dry. If you don't have time, you don't have to sear them, but feel free to give them a quick sear before
Wait a
slicing.
minute, we're dirtying another dish. Like finding another way to cook our protein. Great tip from like a culinary perspective. I'm sure it adds a really nice sear, but again, from like a practicality perspective and knowing that this all would have taken me more than an hour, I probably would not do that to save myself a dirty dish.
Or don't. It's like literally a minute in a hot pan on both sides, so you totally could. Unload a skewer or 2 into your meal prep tin, followed by rice, followed by slaw, you know, to your heart's desire, or whatever Nor tells you, in my case. Now for the salad, add your dressed greens to a meal prep container, fresh sliced sous vide chicken breast on top, your grape tomatoes. For the pork, slice it nicely, lay it down, add your peppers and onions, your rice.
Yeah, I will say he's got a lot of variety here amongst his proteins and his vegetables, and then always defaulting to rice. So I wonder if maybe we could benefit from seeing like a different type of grain on the plate. Maybe it's farro, maybe it's barley, maybe it's quinoa. Again, to meal prep this all and keep it simple, maybe it's rice and you're eating different variety throughout different meals, like he's getting his whole grains in his bread sandwich.
With all this clocking in at just under 1 hour, depending on if you do the salmon or the breakfast one. But first, let's clock in our calories with proteins, carbs, and fat. This is the total we spent for the week, which means we spent this for each day and this for each meal.
Okay, so he's showing us how he made it affordable. I think it's all really relative. I mean, these numbers are gonna vary based on where you're grocery shopping and like if something's on sale or not, but really nice to see the breakdown there. I'm kind of shocked that the salmon isn't the most expensive.
Now, let's taste test.
We're here with our expert,
All right,
Nor,
the best
the one
part.
and only. Okay, so we could start with breakfast. That was really just toasted bread, soft-boiled egg, and breakfast turkey.
I hope he doesn't eat the saran wrap there on the outside.
This is good. That's about 30 grams of protein.
Sous vide chicken, of rice, fajita veg.
Left under teaspoon is about 28 and then divided by 7. So that's perfect.
I really
I
like this
did not know this was gonna happen.
herbaceous. A lot of nutrients from the spinach, from the basil, and the fiber from the spinach. Yeah, if you don't like salmon, I can also.
Oh, I love salmon, man.
What, 10 grams of sugar maybe?
I lost you, man. This
I
is
don't know where the 10 grams of sugar would be coming from.
You heard it here. Perfect macro roundup. You can't go wrong. The reality is, take the time and Nor will approve. I'm going to be shredded in
Again.
6 months. Is that really gonna land on 4th of July?
if it doesn't
guess
get
we have to
shredded, I'm
check
quitting my
back.
job.
You wanna know what else is gonna get shredded? B-roll.
Like I said, I think these are some awesome balanced meals. If you are a meal prepper or trying to get started, these seem like very beginner friendly ways to kind of jump in. In some cases, I think you might want to adapt them, right? Like if you don't have the sous vide cooker, if you don't have the mandolin, if you don't have the other gadgets that he used, if you need to take a shortcut and buy your salad dressing or your sauce for your protein, go right ahead. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out more of my videos, subscribe and like our Healthline channel. I'll be there sharing nutrition tips and other reaction videos as well. Take care.